Freddie Ljungberg, Henrik Larsson and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Swedish football always had a representative on the game's big stage. However, the Swedish clubs have yet to impose themselves in European football. That is why we've decided to take you on a journey to the land of the Vikings to discover one of Sweden's oldest football clubs. Without further ado, let's talk to you about Hammarby IF Football Club. In 1889, a group of young men from the Södermalm district of Stockholm gathered to form a rowing club called Hammarby Roddförening. The club initially started competing against other local rowing clubs, with the races taking place on the Hammarby Show watercourse, which the club took its name from. The club mainly included young men from the working class who used to work in the industrial area in the district. Moving forward to 1897, the club diversified into different sports following the demands of its members. It was then named Hammarby Idrottsförening, or Hammarby Sports Club. The rowing association transformed into a multi-sport club, and in 1915 the football section was introduced. In the early years, Hammarby IF played in local leagues and had limited success. In 1916, Hammarby participated in its first competitive tournament, the Svenska Mästerskapet, a club held to decide the Swedish champions between 1896 and 1925. Hammarby reached the tournament's final for the first time in 1922, but lost the trophy 1-3 to Gais. The club failed to compete in the Swedish top flight and spent the 1950s and 1960s yo-yoing between the first and second divisions. The 1970s were better, with the club finding stability in the Allsvenskan. In 1982, Hammarby reached the league's playoffs final but lost to IFK Göteborg. The club reached the Svenska Cupen final in the following year but lost to the same team, IFK Göteborg. However, IFK guaranteed their qualification to the UEFA Cup that year. This allowed Hammarby to take their place in the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup and participate in their first major international competition. Since then, the club's performance deteriorated as they were relegated once again. After going back and forth between the first and second divisions, Hammarby returned to the Allsvenskan in 1998. Before the start of the 2000 to 2001 season, the club was going through some tough times, especially financially, which made some journalists predict its relegation once again. Despite the challenging circumstances, Hammarby has been crowned the champions for the first time in their history. The club maintained its position in the top flight of Swedish football. They even managed to qualify for the 2004 to 2005 and the 2007 to 2008 UEFA Cup. However, the club was relegated again in 2009 after a disastrous year. After 5 years of second division football and nearly getting relegated to the third year, Hammarby was promoted to the Allsvenskan in 2015. Since then, the club has remained in the first division and succeeded in winning the 2020 to 2021 Svenska Cupen. Hammarby has always been regarded as a team with a primarily working-class fan base. Despite the club's history not being loaded with domestic and international triumphs, it is renowned for having the loudest supporters and the highest average attendance in the Nordic countries. In 1970, Hammarby supporters brought the English atmosphere to Swedish stadiums as they started to sing inspired football chants to support their club. Hammarby had the highest average attendance in Scandinavia since 2014, except for 2020 and 2021 when games were mainly played behind closed doors due to the COVID-19 outbreak. The club's crest at its founding was a white flag with 3 green horizontal lines. It took design cues from 2 rival rowing teams in Stockholm that utilized 2 blue and 2 red stripes on a white banner, but then went for green instead, since it stands for optimism. When Hammarby learned that Göteborg's RF flew a similar green and white flag with 2 stripes, it ultimately added a 3rd stripe. Domestic and international success might be a crucial aspect of the game. After all, winning is the ultimate goal in football. However, fans do not always care about glory. All that matters for them is the sense of pride and belonging to the club they support. and that is precisely the case with Hammarby IF lovers. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed our video. Remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons for more content like this.